Let me just say in summary that we have decided today to now go and rally in 4, as opposed to just 3, of the districts of the 5 defectors to rally and make sure their local communities understand what this means in terms of the legislation and the resources that we need for these districts. These people campaigned on that. The people they campaigned to need to know that they have in fact now joined the Romney team of New York that they voted against. And if in fact they say it is a progressive agenda, then I don't understand why the media has not made Skelos commit to what that progressive agenda is. You can't call local Romney policies a progressive agenda. So we are clearly going to do that. The ministers are committed. You saw today every Democratic candidate for mayor. You saw 2 of the 4 black congressmen. You saw many of the state senators. But we're going forward because we feel that we've been deceived. This is not about politics, but this is about policy. And I think we've seen one of the most heroic acts that I've seen in all of the Albany back and forth the last 25, 30 years I've been involved, when John Sampson said, if y'all want to raise me as an issue, I will step aside. So now what is their problem? What is their excuse? They will not, if they will not come in their caucus now and deal with how they select leadership, then that means that this was not a deal that had anything to do with what they were saying. If Skelos cannot publicly say, yes, I'm committed to an agenda, progressive agenda, and these are the items, then we can only assume that it's a deal that they can't speak about in public.
Governor Andrew Cuomo has said he'll give this a chance to work out. He's laid out, 10 items that he said were his litmus test for this. Are you disappointed that he didn't step in earlier?
I'm not. I'm going to deal with the governor, but not today. This ain't a Cuomo story. This is a policy story. And even the 10 items he laid out, I've not heard Skelos answer that. What I don't understand is why the press is not asking Skelos, what is this progressive agenda you agreed to? Skelos, are you going to do these 10 things? Everybody keep asking the victims rather than the guy that is now with the bat in his hand, did you hit them?
And if they pass this agenda, would that address some of the issues about chairmanships and about who gets appointed to what?
We will deal with that when they pass it. But what I want to know is, without them having responded to our policy stuff or even the governor's, then what was the basis of these 5 defecting? What was the basis? And what is the basis of y'all helping them defraud the public, saying this is a progressive agenda?
What's the 4th district you're going to have a rally in?
Carlucci.
Who has a significant Haitian and Latino membership of constituencies. And you got to remember now, these people up every 2 years. Anything else?
For Leader Sampson, stepping down as leader, is that contingent on being able to put together a majority, or no matter what, you're intending to do that at this point?
We're talking about the majority. I don't want to be used as an excuse. So to move that out of the way, it's about the majority. Numerically, we have the majority. And the one thing, and we have talked about it, one thing everybody always talks about is function, and always trying to associate it with us. But the whole story is the Republicans created coup number 1, and they created coup number 2. And, it's not getting, it's not really being said for what it is. Legislation was passed, budget deficits were closed, but people were used to functioning in a climate where Republicans were in control, where you had no democracy, when the leader said you're doing X. But we have democracy, and there's a difference between the dysfunction and democracy. And this is the story that's not being told. Because every time everyone always says Democrats dysfunction, who created it? The Republicans created it because they did not like being in the minority. Because for years and for decades, they had the spoils. But when it came to sharing the spoils, they did not want to. Perfect example is education funding. Last year or this year in the session, they gave educational funding to all their Republican districts. Not one district, not one Democratic district, not one Democratic district. You know, and this is what we're dealing with operating in Albany. So if you're going to talk about dysfunction, who creates dysfunction? And now you have a coalition. What is a true coalition? A coalition is not comprised of 30 Republicans, all who supported Mitt Romney's agenda, who says 47% of this population is discounted as we have our hands out. Now we're going to let them, along with 6 Democrats, create a progressive agenda when all those items that the governor talked about, the Republicans could have done these last 2 years when they were in control. They didn't do it. So what's the difference now? And remember this one thing, that the Republicans did a progressive issue, marriage equality. 3 out of the 4 are no longer there. These progressive issues are not favorable for them when it comes to their own Republican primaries.
Right.
So, first point, elected official, is survival. So, they're not going to do anything else to create a climate where they can lose their primary elections. So this is not going to happen.
You said that this is a national issue. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about why people outside New York should care about what's happening in Albany.
Because one, I think that when you look at the fact that even Dean said himself, this is a national model. They have tried to tout this nationally, that this is what needs to happen. And we have got to show that you cannot get away with campaigning on one thing and then cutting a deal right after the election and going against the principles you ran on. They all received support from our communities, from labor, from everyone, and then turn around and said virtually, the way to campaign now is say what they want to hear and then go cut your deal. That's really what they're saying. They did not say, I'm going to make a deal with the Romney Republicans, vote for me. But that's what they've done. Because let's be real clear, Dean Skelos and them are the Romney Republicans of New York State. And they're telling us that 5 of them are going in with 30 of them, and that we should trust that agenda and them to select the chairmanships and all of that. They did not run on that.
Anything else, guys? Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.